What's going on, everybody? Real Patriots Fishing here. Little tackle tip for you for how I organize my tackle on the kayak. Something I've been doing for the last year that I've really kind of refining as I go. I've been trying to reduce the gear that I carry. I'll show you. This is what I have a lot of my terminal tackle in, is these Plano boxes. And they're absolutely great. They were great when I had the boat. But they're big and bulky, and I don't really need all that stuff on the kayak all the time. So I bought these TracPaks from YakAttack. Very handy. They go right on the rails. You can mount them wherever you want. You can stack them on top of each other. You can mount them to the BlackPak if you want to mount them to the BlackPak. But last year what I did is I put the majority of my terminal tackle inside of there to see, could I get away with downsizing my terminal tackle? Could I get away with not taking all of my Plano boxes out every single time I went fishing? The answer is absolutely yes. Now, I'm not a tournament fisherman, so if you're a tournament fisherman, this probably doesn't apply to you. You guys need to carry everything you can with you at any given moment. But if you're just, like a weekend warrior like I am, or like to get out there and make videos, this tip is probably for you. So for the TracPaks, YakAttack now makes these 8x2 trays that go in. You can double stack them inside the TracPak. It's great because it's going to allow me to organize my tackle and have it really close to me within arm's reach on my rails, and not have those bulky Plano boxes in my BlackPak that I have to reach back and grab every single time. Now, currently, I have 2 of the TracPaks that I'm running. One for hooks, one for weights. And the trays that I bought with them when I originally bought them were these, 3 tray systems that go into it, and I just put one in each one of them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an 8x2 and I'm going to put it in each one of these, and I'm going to separate my weights out. I'm going to separate my hooks out. I probably carry a shaky head, a straight shank worm hook, a straight shank hook, a wide off gap hook, and some wacky worm octopus style hooks with some brush guards. And then I carry a couple shaky heads, maybe a couple jig heads, and probably a couple like of the mushroom heads for Ned rigging. That's pretty much all I carry when I'm out there on the water kayaking. I typically don't lose a lot of gear out there. And so I don't need a ton of stuff with me at all times. I need just a couple, maybe 5 to 10 hooks of each one of those, and I can get away with that by utilizing these TracPaks. And the nice thing about it is if I want to set a couple of these boxes up for different things, I can swap them out on my rails for whatever I need. If I'm going to go smallmouth fishing and I know I'm going to be rigging nothing but tubes, I can set a box up for just tube jigs. The jigs and the jig heads, the hooks, the plastics, everything you need to go with it. So it's very versatile for you to use. They're not the cheapest thing in the world. I think like 2 of them are like 71 bucks for these right now on Amazon. Probably find them somewhere a little bit cheaper, or wait for a sale to go on. Maybe, Santa Claus to get you one. I don't know. But that's how I'm going to set my tackle up, guys, and I will get back to you and let you know how it works out. All right, guys, just so you have an understanding of kind of my before and after, I'm going to take a little short video here and show you. Again, I got the 2 TracPaks that I run on the rails. I'll show you actually where I put them right now, just so you kind of have an understanding how I have mine set up. Now, I have an Old Town 120 PDL Pro. Love the kayak. I got some videos on reviews on that if you guys want to check them out. But here's the trays they go in. Again, you can shift them on any side of the rail that you want. Place them where you need to. I could double stack them on top of each other if I wanted to, but that's how they mount. Pretty simple. You just unlock it and screw it in just like any other rail accessory. So like I said, currently I got these 3x1, I guess is what you want to call these systems in there. Only one in each one, so then I can utilize the bottom for different things. If I wanted to throw, a box of these hooks in, or if I want to throw some juice in there, or something else, or if I just wanted to put basically whatever I want to put in there, I can. This box is basically set up for all of my hooks, or my weights, I'm sorry. You can see they're all just kind of thrown in there, different sizes. It's kind of a pain when you're going down the water. So again, I'm going to switch over to these 8x2 trays. In each one of these, see if we can get away with one 8x2 tray in each one, and then maybe stack these bigger ones on the bottom just for other things. So that's what it's going to look like, guys. I'll show you the finished product in just a couple minutes. All right, guys, so I just condensed everything, and yeah, I was pretty spot on. I ended up taking two boxes going from the 3x1 trays down to the 8x2 trays for all of my terminal tackle. Again, I know exactly what I use and how much I use and what I need on the water because I've been fishing for quite a while. This may not work for you. You may need both boxes. You may need 3 or 4 boxes of terminal tackle. But what I did is I got the hooks on top and my weights in the bottom. So you can see I got my drop shots. I got my heavy weights for flipping. I got stuff for a Carolina rig. I got my bobber stops, extra rings and swivels, nail weights, a bunch of different size, Texas rig weights, both a little heavier and a little bit lighter. Mix these two. I don't really pay attention to what I need, whether it's a 1/4 ounce, 3/16 ounce, whatever. I just go with medium or small, basically. If I need to go big, then I'm flipping, and that's what I need. But the nice thing is I can take these trays out, I can swap them around. My hook tray goes right on top now. So I got my Texas rig, my shaky head, a bit of odd to end jig heads. I use the jig heads for different things, whether it's throwing a paddle tail swim bait or putting that Nico tadpole on a jig head. Drop shots, large wide gap wacky style, small wacky style octopus, bunch of mushroom jig heads, and then larger jig heads that I can basically use for different things. So this is my setup. Again, it works for me. This is gonna be great for me and come in really handy. It is fairly heavy, for one box, but the plan is to take this box now and set it up for other items that I want readily available, whether it's scissors, pliers, just extra junk to throw in there. Whether I want to throw this, I want to throw my chartreuse stuff in there to keep it from getting everything else messy. If I want to throw swim jigs in here, I can throw pretty much whatever I want in here. And so these boxes paired with the BlackPak is how I run my tackle. Again, I no longer need to take all of these out because now I have just a small representation of the tackle that I need. I can come back to the house, I can come in here and I can grab weights and restock as I need. Inside my BlackPak, that's my camera mount, by the way. Inside my BlackPak, how I have it set up is 4.0 boxes set up, swim jigs, chatterbaits, a top water box, a crankbait, a rattle trap box. Down there, those are pretty much my hard baits. And then when I want something else, I go in here and I can get my plastics. So I know a lot of people are motorized. I'm not motorized, so I don't use this for battery storage or storage for anything else. I can fit basically 6 of the big size Plano boxes and 2 of the small ones in here. These baits here are like spinner baits and a jerk bait. And then this box here is like for crappie. If I want to go for panfish, I have a box set up. I typically really don't go into these 2 boxes very often because I always have a spinner bait tied on normally. And I rarely lose those, knock on wood. But how I have my plastic set up is basically I got a box of all my shaky heads. I got a box for my lizard and my brush hogs. I got a box for nothing but trailers for all kinds of different things, whether it's a trailer for my swim jig, whether it's a trailer for my chatterbait, my buzz baits, everything. All my trailers are here. Again, I know what I use. I know it works for me for where I fish, so I can downsize quite a bit. I got a box set up just straight for rage bugs, a box set up just for wacky, and then I also have a box set up just for drop shots with a bunch of different style worm boxes, worm plastics in there. So again, this is pretty much all the tackle that I take with me. I know I say just all the tackle that I take with me, but you know, it works for my purposes. I'm getting ready to install 2 more rod holders on here, so that it'll give me a total of 4 rod holders on there. The BlackPak sits over here in the back of the kayak, straps down, never comes out. Even when I transport, it doesn't come out. It's heavy enough to where it's not going to bounce out of my trailer, and that's where that goes. So that leaves me still with some extra storage there. And then what I do is I'll carry 1 bag, and this bag, basically I know, you know, this has like my scissors, it has the chartreuse dies, it has a little measuring tape, it has a couple different things that I'll utilize throughout the day, and that typically just sits right here in the side of the kayak. The 2 TracPaks, and then what that does is that alleviates all this deck space is wide open for me. I like fishing with a clean deck. I don't like a whole lot of clutter. Even the rod holder for me can be a little bit of clutter. So I typically won't even have that rod holder on there. It'll go down in here unless I need it. And I have another lock and load system is what I use for those. So again, that's my setup for how I run my bait storage. Again, you got to do what works for you and what works for you, because only you know how you're going to fish, right? So set your boxes up, mess around with them, refine it, reorganize, do whatever works for you, and you'll have a great time out of the water. But again, the main point I'm trying to make is, you know, I ran this system for a year before I decided to kind of change it up. So I really knew what I wanted when I got off the water and how I wanted to set it up in the off season. And this may not work. I may get out there and absolutely hate, you know, pulling this tray apart or having to fumble through those 2 trays. I don't know. We'll see how it works when I get out there. But TracPaks are awesome.